Here is how to make a shareable budget for unit leaders, parents, troop board, whatever, that is always up to date with the Troop Finances Tracker 3.0. So here's our budget, and we want to make this available so it can be seen, but nothing else like families and everything else can be seen. So on your Setup tab, there is this click here for a list of how-to videos and additional important directions and capabilities. So when you click that, you get piece that looks like this. So we'll make this smaller. And the very first thing right now, it might move as I add other things, but somewhere in here is to create a separate budget document for leaders and parents to see. So first of all, you need to get the code that you'll need for step 3. So go to the browser window, and right up here from your personal Troop Finances Tracker 3.0, up here between the D and the edit, or the D and the edit, and between those lines you're going to highlight all of this stuff, not the slashes, just the stuff between the slashes, and Control C to copy it. Now we need to click on the link below to open this budget in a new window, and it asks me if I want to make a copy, and I say yes, make a copy for me, please, thank you. And let's move this over here so that we can still see our directions as well. Okay, that doesn't look good, does it? But that's what at first it will be mostly blank. If you click on cell A1, that's where we are, you see this spreadsheet code. We don't want that in there, but we do want the quotes. And then if you do Control V and you're pasting your code in there, you have to make sure that you still have those quotes. And now, if we hit enter, we still get a ref, but it gives us a little warning, you need to connect these sheets, allow access. So this is just letting the sheets talk to each other, and look at that. Now, everything that we put on here, for example, our Christmas party is going to cost us $20. It shows up, Christmas party, $20. And transactions, someone just turned in money for, we just wrote another, Sue bought more unit supplies. Sue is a busy gal, and they were $23. All right, and now if we go to budget, sure enough they show up on here. So now we only have 19 left, and now Sue can also see. Sue better not spend too much more because there's only $19 left. All right, now, oh, and then you'll probably want to edit this name so it doesn't say copy of, maybe put in your troop number. And then some of the things, because we changed around the budget on this page, we added some rows, we moved things around, things are a little bit, like here, you see how this title here, total insignia, it's not showing up right, and this line is too high. So some of these you'll just have to play around. Now keep in mind, you can't change any of the information here, but watch what happens if I insert a row, insert below, it moves everything down, and now that this row that was bolded, now this row is bolded, and because total insignia is now in this row, now this is bolded. And the same thing here, this looks like it's shifted up too high, and I can't move it down. I can't move the words at all, but I can move this border, for example, should be above instead of below total. So I'm going to go to, I highlight it, go to my borders, turn off all the borders, and now turn on the top border, and now that's where I want it. Oh, and I wanted that bold as well. So you might have to go through and change some things. Yeah, it looks like this was all shifted by mistake somehow, but that's okay. It's easy enough to change. So you can add rows, you can remove rows. Like, watch what happens if I delete. Okay, I'm going to delete all of these rows. Delete. Nope, the words are still there. The formatting is just all shifted, so I'm going to undo that. So if there's something that you don't want to see, for example, I don't want to see these 3 empty rows because I need that, I want that, but I don't want to see these 3 empty rows. I cannot delete them, but I can hide them. And now they're hidden, okay? So a couple other things. What if I'm looking through this and I'm thinking, you know what, I don't want that to say, I want that to say it also includes tax. So I'm going to write plus tax. Oh, and now what happened? Everything disappeared. And if I go back up to my A1, it gives me a warning, could not be expanded because what's in H21. This stuff that I just typed in, it didn't like that. You cannot type in. So as soon as I delete that, it's back to how it was. If I want that to say tax, I need to go back to the original budget and change the original budget to say plus tax. And now when I go back to my shareable budget, there it is. Okay, so keep that in mind. You cannot type into this. As soon as you type into this, it gets you an error until you delete that. Okay, I talked about hiding, adding rows, deleting rows, hiding rows. Anything else? Oh, here's one thing. Let's say, okay, so we look in our original budget and you see how this one goes all the way down to 64. And if I look at my budget, yeah, it's also 64, but there's nothing in there. So up at this top, if you add more rows, remember we added rows when I was doing the budget thing. When you add rows, if you add 5 rows, then you need to add 5 to that number there. Okay, and now I didn't want to add 5. I should have only added 1 because we only added 1 row. So from 63, it should have been 64. And now I'm getting all of these final numbers as well. So just keep that in mind. And again, that's in the instructions over here. And then finally, what you can do is once you have this, and let's just see, if I go to print, you can see how it's nicely printing on a page if I want to print this out for the registration. Although if I was going to print this, I think I would go through and hide some more of these empty rows. There's no need to have those on there. I can print it or I can save it as a PDF if I hit next. I can also save it as a PDF. Cancel. Now, what if you want this to share this with other people? If you click on share, and what you want to do, well, you could share it with other people. You know, maybe you want to share it with the board members, for example, so they can see this and they can't mess up any of your your stuff in your finance tracker. But here you can also click on change to anyone with link, and now anyone with this link here, I'm going to copy this, can now see this document. So, for example, let's say I have Troop Track and I go to my Share Recommended Links. Oh, now I have to log in again. Sorry about that. I could post a new link and I can put the URL right here and I can say this is the budget for 2021-2022. I've already done that though for our budget, so I'm not going to put a new one in, but you can see it's right there. So as soon as someone clicks this, it shows our actual current budget totally up to date for anyone in the troop to be able to see. And I think that is all I wanted to say about that. So I hope that's helpful to you to be able to have a shareable, viewable, always up-to-date budget that does not let anyone mess around with your actual numbers in your actual finance tracker.